And good morning. How's everyone today? There we go. Okay. I think I've got everything just about set up. Took a little longer today. So we're going to try to soften the edges of the islands. So last night I did update Rust Analyzer. Let that build last night. I did some updates here. So we're going to hop right into it. To get Godot started. And I need to turn the auto task switcher back on. There we go. All right. So we're going to switch to cubic instead of quadratic curves here. I think it's going to give us a little bit more of well, fewer points on the edges of the island. Because we end up with 2 anchor points. So we're going to have chunks of 3, which means that our starting point really has to be divisible by 3 now. Missed must be. I also want to drop the number. Why don't we pass that in? So I'll have subdivisions being passed in. We have to finish piping all that through. We'll do that in a minute. Chunks of 3. Now if we do a cubic. Oh, what is this? Cubic to quadratic? Interesting. And here with a cubic BZ2, there's 2 control points. And 1 destination point. So I think the first control point is the other end of the control point for the point you're currently leaving. Then the control point for where you're heading to. And then your destination point. Alright, let's finish piping that through. It could be 12, it could be 15, it could be something else. Well, you know what we should do? We should say curves. How many curves do we want? And then inside we'll multiply that. That's a better interface. Man, I only got like 4 hours sleep last night. Woke up with this horrible headache last night. Then I fell back asleep. So, you know, I think my Fitbit is wrong. I did get more than 4, but I don't think I slept well the second piece. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm doing okay. A little groggy. How are you doing? I started really late today because apparently and I told my wife this. I said my alarm didn't go off. That's what I told her. And she says, "Oh, it did. You turned it off." I have no memory of that. I've actually got like 2 alarms and I disabled both of them. Same thing happened to you? Oh, the tolerance is greater than epsilon. That's interesting. This didn't happen before with the tolerance. Amethyst is not ready. Oh, interesting. Oh, you missed your alarm yesterday. Phone lost battery due to Twitch. Oh, that's great. Oh, Aaron, I didn't see your message. Why do I not use Amethyst? I want this to be able to work on mobile devices. Last I checked, it didn't support mobile devices. I would like to use an engine that has had a lot of time on a lot of different mobile devices, so that all of the bugs get worked out, and Amethyst isn't mature enough to meet that criteria. Also, the build release pipeline in Godot is actually quite nice. Or consoles, yeah. And I know Godot's actually made it to consoles and stuff like that. But then the next question is, why don't I use like Unity or, you know, the other big 800-pound gorillas? How is Godot pronounced? It's from the Awaiting for Godot play. I believe it's a French play, so I always try to pronounce it with as if a French person were saying Godot. Godot. Ooh, we got jokes today. Godot, yeah. But I don't speak French like that, so I pronounce it poorly, as if a French person were speaking poor French. What do you call people who hurt bees? Oh, a buzzkill. Oh, that's so sad. It's funny though. Oh, where'd my notebook go? Hold on. Alright. And your wife asks you to pass her the lip balm. You gave her super glow. She's still not speaking to you. Alright. Godot? Yeah. Well, people are people. Alright. So, oh, you know what? The editor didn't pick up. OBS didn't get the editor. Oh, you know what? That's a choosing screen. You don't normally get to see that. We're gonna choose. Now I gotta find the other window. Oh, it found it. Great. Okay. So at this point, yeah, we've got our little vertices in the corner, all that. Bunch of little helpful info. I'm gonna delete the last spatial island thing. We're gonna create another one. However, we do not have everything we need. If we click on, that should fail. Yep, and we got a little blurb in output that says incorrect number of parameters. So we'll fix that. So we also need to know the number of curves that we want in this. So we could say 5. And it'll multiply it by 3, so we'll get 15 points. Go back to 3D. On there. So yeah, that's kind of curved. I mean, a lot of it is. It's not broken. You know what? I wanted that to be control. There we go. Curves 10. Let's try again. For a while, you actually tried pronouncing it Godot. That's exactly what I did. Like robot, mascot, yeah. Godot. Godot today, yeah. Donut engine, because people argue too much about how it's pronounced. Oh, look at that. That looks like a wonderful island. I'm liking these curves better. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too many verts there. Still quite a few verts. Let's drop that. Get rid of that one. And we're going to say the tolerance is 0.1. Let's go 0.2. I think the tolerance should also kind of match how big the island is. And let's say that we have 15 curves. What happens? A little bit more chaos on the edges. Huh. And then if you're on the island, those are wrong buttons. So if we come over here and we pretend like, hey, we're on the island, we look around. Got some features of it. Oh, it did not update. My apologies. There we go. All right, let's create a couple more just to see if it's okay. Let's remove the number of, say, 15 to 20. Let's make some smaller islands. Control offset. Did we get rid of that? I think we did. Say, if we just want 3 curves, what does that look like? What if we go really low on that? Just a little blob. They look like little blobs. Interesting. Let's do one with 5. They seem okay. Ooh. Kazak. Got a couple jokes in here. A genie wants me to wish. Oh, excuse me. If I could read today. A genie grants me 3 wishes. Has to be rich. Genie, what is your second wish, Rich? Oh man. Alright, I gotta save that one. I gotta admit, that's so much better than the last one. Because what table fits in a fridge? A vegetable? Why do piano players wear glasses? Because they can't see sharp. Alright. Then, the more that we kind of increase the curves, let's go to 10. Yeah, 10 seems like a good number for that. It's interesting, not too crazy though. Whoa. Ten seems like a pretty decent number for that. Just tell it, yeah, just tell it. Right, 10 seems to be pretty good here. Because if we get too high, then we get like these, if we did 20, Doing a lot of ins and outs. Which also isn't too bad. I guess we could make that kind of a property of this chosen at random. Alright, let's get rid of those. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. That works. What's the difference between a guitar and a fish? You can't tune a fish. Ta-dun-ch. Why did the physics teacher not get along with the biology teacher? There was no chemistry. A guy asked me yesterday. Yesterday ago, what is the time? And I say, time is time. I'm glad you saved up for the bad joke. So we're capturing these jokes and we're going to put them, we'll integrate them eventually into Capitan, a little Twitch bot. The resident sleeper. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we're gonna go back out here, get status. Get to add cargo.lock, legacy native, legacy scenes. Cosmos. Legacy Rust. So at this point, I think we have decent islands. I think we've got also enough kind of levers to make them interesting. So the next piece is actually to create heights. So we have multiple islands kind of floating around together. All right. All right, so we have that. Now the other thing I would like to do is inside of Godot, take a little look here. We'll generate another island. So here's our island. Over there, grab it, bring it out here into space somewhere. Why does that key never work for me? Focus selection. Origin. See, it's doing something else. It's going into some view rotation mode. Anyhow, I'll figure that out later. The next thing is to create the bottom portion of the island, because I want the islands to have a little bit more depth. So right now we can kind of go under the islands and we can't see anything. So I'd like to be able to take each and every one of those points there and create a second half of the island, the bottom cap of the island. Okay. And this should be straightforward. Because people aren't going to see them as much. Oh, look, this one has... Those edges are really visible, aren't they? So that O.2 is probably too low. Let's generate another one. Whoa. Let's see. That looks a lot better. Quite a few more vertices though. Can we get away with like a 0.15? All right, Aaron, you take care. See, even with that, bringing it to 0.015, still not quite right. I think that 0.1 is good. Where'd the camera go? Did I end up deleting the camera? I think I did. Camera's gone. A dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary is called. It's called what? A thesaurus. Okay, now we've got a little bit of cleanup that we're gonna do real quick. Set triangle height, all this stuff. Just gonna get that out of there. In fact, our tests aren't even all that interesting anymore. It just kind of, well, it just works. I know we could probably come up with tests for this. Oh, we don't need area for mesh. That's done. What about this area? I don't think we need that either. So we'll clean this up a touch and then we will create the bottom caps. Okay, triangle's unused. I think shape's also unused. Or do we use shape? Oh, it'll be unused soon. Alright, because we don't have to tessellate the island anymore. We're not going to be saving the island as a PNG. Island path goes away. Okay, let's just start at the top. This is getting much, much simpler. Shall not be encoded as a PNG. There are no more IO errors. Persist island data. Does this just save it? Yeah, it just saves it. Last one for the day. How do celebrities manage to stay cool? They have many fans. That one's pretty good. That one, yeah, island path goes away. Is this used? Tessellate Island. It is, but that's for the old Generate Island, which we're not using anymore. That goes away. Generate Island goes away. Generate Quadratic Island is not really a Generate Quadratic Island anymore. Zone points to polygons. Don't need that. Island grid to transitions. Island noise. Done. Wow. All the stuff that we've done in the past month, just destroyed by cubic curves. Alright. Nice thing about Git, it's still there. If I wanted to go back, we could find it. Alright, now as the API here says, it should be generate islands. We're not generating islands. So technically there should be multiples here. We're not there yet. Oh good, shape and triangle are gone. Shore size. Wow, why is that hard to say? Shore size. Those go away, UUID's gone. Alright. All that from game types is gone. Tessellate. Done. Is that a new one in here? Bottom of the island. There we go. Okay. Why don't we have something that actually describes the island? Instead of just, let's see, where did that type go? This. So I think I would like to have the island top and the island base in an object that we can return to the client, and just so it's a little bit more descriptive than that. I also like that we could potentially make a maze out of these with corridors and rooms. The rooms being the islands and the corridors being like rope bridges. I like the idea of an island maze where you have different altitudes involved and you can't entirely see everything and you have to explore it. That would be cool. I would like that. Cosmos source. So we'll have the top, we'll have the bottom. And that is going to be one of these. I guess we could keep that, couldn't we? So we'll keep the mesh. Okay, now some of this, we're going to need to know how many islands. And is it okay to jump from like island at level 1 to island at level 3? Is that climb going to be a little bit more treacherous or what? Like, what? I guess it's still going to be possible. That could be cool. And previously, the radius, min, max, all of this stuff had been passed in, right? We would give it an island size, and then we would scan the noise for that. But we don't have to do that anymore. So we could have a small base island, and then a larger island up above. Kind of like a landing island. Should we just pass in a UUID and then go from there? Determine all of these. I think that would work, except for islands where we want a little bit more control. So I want to ensure that everybody's home island is at least a certain size. So let's just make a UUID. We could pass in a minimum. Or maybe a type. Maybe we have types of island clusters.
It's not exactly clear whether they even truly exist or could be shown to in the physical universe. If they do, if one day physics finds a use for them, that's great. But if not, that's great too. That would mean that we have, with this
Sorry, incoming messages from
a tiny
my wife.
septillion times smaller than the tiny planet it lives on. Discovered something true.
Alright. And we're back. Good morning, Maddie Live. How are you doing? And we're gonna capture these into those islands. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about the randomness just yet, because we have two elements that we have to build up here. That geometry is the land. More afternoon than morning? Well, I hope you had a good morning. And it sounds like the coffee is ready. I should probably go grab some.
If one day physics finds a use for them, that's great. But if not, that's
Yeah, and I think that it's actually going to be fairly simple to do the base, because the tessellation is just going to be a little different. Can we do a constrained point for that? Or will it not care? Well, let's try it. Basically what I'm thinking is that we take those points there. Here, let's go with the visual aid. So imagine you have something like this, right? Well, what if you wanted to pull the center down? You would add a point there, right? In the very middle. And then you just draw that point down. Now, unfortunately, the way that this is tessellating might not be conducive to that. Which is unfortunate. Because, yeah, let's see what it does. So if we did add a point in the middle, oh wait, can we do this with a shader? We could do this with a shader, couldn't we? Basically, the closer you get to the center of the island, the further out it appears. So if we did out of this, let's see. This isn't showing us the actual shapes there. It's too bad. See, the type is correct there. Let's go into island parts. No, I don't want that as a child of that. Thank you. So island parts is supposed to have a number of, pieces, parts. But it doesn't anymore. It's just an island. So I think it's named poorly, but I don't want to change it. We have island. And then island has island parts. I think I'd been thinking that islands were fractured and they were floating away from each other, but we're not really doing that anymore. We're just having a kind of a cluster, a little cloister of islands chained together. Now, this script is what it's just called island parts, which is what's generating those meshes. Yeah, so we can. Why don't we set something up on there already? We're not using this empty and whatnot. Need to do a little bit of cleanup here. So this scene here, we're going to have kind of like the island area. So let's create a directory for that, new folder. Maybe we should call it zones. Scenes, game, zones. The island zone. We'll take these three, toss them in there. Let's clean this up a little bit more as well. Scenes, game, UI. What do you call the scenes that are just like forms? Like login and so they are kind of forms, right? Actors, bootstrap, sure. Delete me? Loading, login, and welcome. Okay. I think we can actually get rid of delete me. What did you have? Yeah, goodbye, delete me. We will do as you say. Gameplay. We're gonna leave you there. Alright, now to rebuild this. So the island zone is going to have multiple islands, and each island is going to have kind of a top and a bottom, and then we'll end up having little bridges that go between these islands. So this is island.gdns. I think island here. Yeah, this is like for loading the zone. Add a new scene. Island zone, or island area. Or just call it zone. Where did it go? Oh, we have to click on scene. We have to choose. This will be a 3D scene. Great. All right, now we have a zone here. We're going to take island off of this. Rename this. I want to reuse that name. So we'll do the little G move here. We'll call this island zone. Okay, write everything. Good. Attach a script. This will be island zone. Oh man, I love that other little helper script. That project helper is so nice. It just created the GDNS for me, all that stuff. Very, very nice. Okay, so now we have the island, the zone. We're gonna get rid of this island mesh. It didn't complain that it was being used, so that's alright. Can't save scene. Likely dependencies couldn't be satisfied. Which ones? Telling me. Alright, we'll delete that, yes. So an island is going to be a little different. That's actually what an island part is at the moment. Now, even though this thing here is generating the islands, we'll have to... We'll do something a little different for that. Right now it's generating, quote-unquote, all the islands, which is just one, due to how we have this wired up. Go back to native. It's going to be island. Island parts should go away. File system. Goodbye. Was it? It's being used by island parts. Okay, let's save this first. Alright, so now I have an item, excuse me, an island. Whatever this delete me. Oh, that's going away. Don't save. An island has an island debug on it, that's fine. Let's just set it at origin. Yeah. Okay, island parts can go away. Delete that. Alright. So now we have the island zone. We have island, we have gameplay. Close that. I want to be a little bit more descriptive there. That, I do not like random zones just being in the tabs. I'm going to rename that. That's better now. We can actually see which one it is. If we had multiples, let's say we had a dungeon zone or some sort of interior zone. All right. So let's wire some of these back up. So our island zone here. Let's see, is that transitioning correctly? It looks like it. Yeah, this is actually what's listening to the server. So when we get information coming back saying this is what your zone is, this is your info, this is what it gets. Currently this ID, there is the UUID of the island. So I think we're going to be generating a set of islands from that. Let's rename that to Zone ID. It's a little bit more clear now. URLs no longer exist. We'll come back to that in a bit. So if we have it like this, we could then go through and generate a little cluster of things. Feels like we need some sort of utility that given an ID for this zone, we would get the parameters for a set of islands. And then we can pass those parameters to n number of island shapes here. I thought we got rid of island parts. Then we'd have an island, and the island would take n number of params and generate it itself. It would probably also have to generate those bridges and whatnot between them, so that'd have to come from the description file. All right, I'm gonna go grab the coffee real quick. Give me 5 minutes. See if I can adjust my little timer here. Let's see, does that work? Oh, it does. Perfect. All right, I gotta wash my cup and then pour some coffee. I'll be right back. There we go. Alright. It's a little chilly out here. Grab a sweater. There we go. Oh, so much better. Yeah, we've got a lot going on at the moment. In terms of like what I'm thinking through, because this island zone needs to also be represented in the server. So when somebody goes to a zone and it gets generated or it's loaded, the server then needs to generate the meshes, etc. as well for pathfinding. So yeah, we'll basically have a lot of those to work on. Let's get back to just working on the island zone piece. Okay, now an island zone. No, not an island zone, an island. Hey, Brooke. Welcome, everybody. How are you? And today we're actually working on island generation. We're putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. So I had something that was actually a lot more interesting to look at just, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. So welcome, everybody. We're working on a project called Legacy. It's a procedurally generated universe of islands. The backstory is kind of like there's this big uber evil sort of thing that was trapped, but part of trapping it meant that the rest of the universe got cursed and kind of broken apart. So, oh my goodness, is Capitan not working? Wow, that's really distracting. So now the world is built of these islands and they're procedurally generated. And that's what we're working on at the moment. It's a bit of a kind of, I envision it to be a little bit of a mix between, let's say, Don't Starve and Sunless Seas. And let me get Capitan running. I did not realize Capitan was not there. Hey, there we go. Okay, Capitan's back. We got a set of commands, so if you're interested in any of these common things, commands are available. If you have questions, please ask. I started streaming to learn Rust, and I decided to build a game server plus a client because it was a big enough challenge or big enough playground to learn Rust in. So welcome. So we're going to be working on Cosmos Island. No, Legacy Rust Island. Okay. How far are we in the stream? I've been streaming for maybe an hour this morning, hour 10. I've been streaming for over a year. I just had my cake day. It was September 12th, actually. It's my 1 year of streaming. All right. Now, what we're going to work on at this point right here. Are you heading off to work? All right. Thank you, Brooke. Hope you had a good stream. So this let's see, colors and meshes and bears. Oh my. Got a lot of meshes, a lot of bears. Sadly, that's true. There's a bear here yesterday. Well, close to here. It's like a couple 100 feet away. You see a photo next to my name. Is that my real photo of me? That is me. Yes. I've been growing out a mustache. Yeah, the ducks in the background. Yeah, that's me. All right, so this island with the island debug, we're going to change the island debug script to just poke at the island. And the island, I would like it to have a mesh instance so we can control it a little better. I think right now we end up having these, generating these mesh arrays and et cetera, and a new mesh instance. Where I would prefer to have the mesh instance already there and just set stuff up on it. Yeah, I didn't wax the stash this morning, so it's extra kind of bushy, but I'll do that by stand up. Oh, the ducks are after the corn. I can't tell what they're after. All right, the quacking is in the cornfield. It's not a field, it's like a patch. Anyhow, so we're gonna add a mesh instance here. We'll call this a land. And then we'll create another mesh instance that we will have as, I don't know, maybe we won't. Maybe, I'm not sure if we need two sides of this. Hey, Green Tide. Godot uses a C++-like variant and GDScript, which is a variant of Python. Yes, that's exactly right. Godot is built in C++ and provides GDScript. Godot also has GD native, which is basically a mechanism by which you can load a shared object, a DLL or whatever, depending on your platform, which means that any language that can build a DLL or shared object can be loaded into into Godot, and that code is used as scripts. So, because the server side is written in Rust, and I want to be able to share code between the server and the client, I ended up using that mechanism to share code. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. I'm not an expert at Godot in any means. But I like the license. I like that I can hop in there and fix any bugs that I might encounter. I like that I can use Rust and share code between the server and the client. That, and it's had enough time on devices. Alright, so then we'll have the land. And I think we need kind of the opposite of that. We need like the underside of the land as well. We'll see. Alright, so this island debug is really just for us. It's a tool script. I'm going to move that down to the bottom. So island debug. It's supposed to have all these different properties and and things. I'm going to make this much more specific so that, when we click on this generate button there, it'll cause the island to regenerate its mesh. I am using Rust with Godot. It's done using a project called GD Native, which is currently, I don't know, the beta's been, the alpha, I don't know, the preview for 0.9.0 has been going on for quite a while. And it's working really, really well. I would suggest anybody hop into it. They've got their own Discord, all sorts of stuff. And there are tasks. So if you want to hop on and help build GD Native, please do. Okay, so let's remove some of these elements, and then we'll have all the parameters here that we can build these islands, and we'll be able to see it in here and hopefully style it, etc. So where is that script? That one's gone. Let's close. Ooh, close too many. There. Godot Rust does have a Discord. Here, let me grab that real quick. I'm going to set that in Capitan. All right. GD Native Discord. Okay, SCR. There we go. I think that's it there. If that doesn't work, let me know. So now the relationship has changed. We're just going to operate off of parent mesh path. I guess we could just set that and leave it as a land path or something. So I don't know that is going to be needed. Tolerance control offset, not needed. Radius min max and curves, fine. So we're going to get our parent. And maybe you'll stop putting stuff in GitHub issues that don't really belong. Oh, interesting. Yeah, absolutely. There's that Discord. And it's been growing a lot lately, so yeah, ask your questions there. I think morning my time is probably the best time to ask questions in there, because I think Toast Eater is usually around at that time. All right, I'll stop dilly-dallying. So we'll get the parent. What can we do on a mesh instance? Let's look. Can we empty it? Let's say I wanted to set the mesh to nothing. Yeah, this create convex shape, interesting. Alright. Well, maybe just setting the mesh over again would work. We're not going to have island parts anymore, because we're just working on the island individually. We're not creating that. In fact, we're just calling, like, this.generate. And hopefully generate can do that. Oh yeah, control off, so it should go away. You've already learned how to get autocomplete working better with Rust Analyzer. Nice. Nice. So do you do consulting? Alright, let's make sure generate. Yeah, it doesn't empty first. It iterates through each child. Oh, it might actually panic if we have the island debug in there. What does this try to? Okay, that returns an option. So if it is a node, great. Otherwise, okay, we want it to actually be a mesh instance. So if it's a mesh instance, then we can remove it. No, I don't want to remove the mesh instance. I just want to empty it. So let's get rid of that. I don't think that's exactly right. We're just going to fill it again. So yes, this here, this mesh instance. Get type node. Alright, the path is going to be what? It's going to be land. Alright, so we get rid of that control offset, that's done. Set mesh, good, good, good. Just gonna clean up a little bit of this. Consulting contracting. That gray area. I gotcha. Now this generate quadratic islands, I think it should just be island. Let's fix that. Just call it generate island. We'll have something else that generates the randomness info for the rest of these parameters.
Please, allow me to show you something.
Alright, so now that we're generating an island, which should be singular, I don't want zones, I just want island now. No longer returning zones. Subdivision, yes, for cubic curves. Okay. Complete the circle, etc. We're no longer pushing into zones. But we do want the path for the island. Build up. Hey, no worries. With Rust, do you need to pre-build a physics engine? You can use the physics engine that's built into Godot. So yeah, you do not have to pre-build a physics engine. No. Godot does have physics stuff in here. In fact, it's okay. Yeah, you have physics bodies, rigid bodies, static bodies, etc. And there are also some decent tutorials on that too. Let's see if I can get this right. Yeah. So collision objects and basically how to work through this. And they'll show you, you know, this looks like a 2D example, but no more dragon, Turbo Dave. That's right. I went with an actual picture of myself. Oh, you know what? I copy pasted the wrong link. That is the Discord link. My apologies. That's the Discord for GD native. So, Green Tide, that's the link to the physics stuff. If you want to know a little bit more about that, I'd say it works pretty well. I think they were actually improving the physics for the version 4. Alright, so there we have our path, our zone. How dare I? change the image? Oh, you're welcome. Nice mustache. That's what I've been. That's my plague mustache. So I've had this incredible amount of time not going into the office and thought, you know what? It's time to try the stash. Said, hey, darling, talked to my wife about it. Like, what do you think of, don't just do the beard and whatever, but, go for like a crazy mustache. She says, it's your face. So I took that as approval. That's actually what I look like, yeah. That's a picture of me. And it was so smoky out, that sepia color, it was actual. That's like, there's no doctoring on that photo at all. I don't understand why I was converting it to a path and then back out from a path. Hey Flask, how's it going? Am I near the fires? Man, there are fires all over the United States. There's a fire. 60 miles away though. Have I seen Jitspo? Yes, I like watching Jitspo. And then I like sneaking into his chat and doing one of these little ASMR thing in there. I do it so regularly that Doesn't even look anymore. He just says, "Hi, Mr. Halsey." Yes. Oh, I haven't showed Jitspo my stash photo. Oh my goodness. We were talking about it the other day, and I told him I was going to send him a photo of the stash. Alright, expected struct island, got that. Yes, and this geometry here is supposed to be the land. So we're building up a vertex buffer here with these 0.2Ds. So replace that with land. We'll have our island. That's funny. No, that's funny. It's funny because there was this really awkward moment early in our relationship where there was a whole story to go along with it, but it actually made sense. And her father kissed me, like one of those like I don't know. Anyhow, but yes, I've had a hairy kiss before, and it is awkward. Because well, that was the one time, and anyhow, that's a little too much info, isn't it? Good sharing, dude. Yeah, and then I go like really quiet for a while. All right, so let's keep going. Good chat. Generate island. Gonna bring that down to a singular. We don't need that anymore. Okay. I should have broken some other stuff. Good. Oh, what's in Game Master here? Ooh, persist island data, yes. We're not going to be doing that anymore. That's actually gone. That's gone. All right. What does this mean? Okay, let's just get rid of that. Island parts, gone. Thank you. A little bit of cleanup. And I had a crushing headache at like 12:30 last night. Is it 12:30 or 1:30? It's probably 1:30. Wait, what's the error here? No into iter found? That's odd. Alright, what about this? Island zone. That's in that folder, or module. What's in that one? Oh, I know. I forgot to import it in the modules up above. Unresolved module. Guess again. It should be there. Really? Island zone is there. It's right there. Did I not save it after I renamed it? Legacy Rust. Island zone. Legacy Rust. Lib. Says that island zone doesn't exist. It's there. Okay, is it because of this issue here? I can't do the macro bit. Let's check. Ooh, Legacy Rust, Islands, Zones Intuitor. Okay, so it's actually an error somewhere else. This little square wave is a little too early for me. Naming a year-long... Oh, I think it's more like a half-decade-long project. Yeah, it's going to take a while. I think it's going to be playable this year, though. Like, we'll probably have, you know, some testing going on this year, and the following it'll probably be able to be fun a bit more. Oh, having flat. Well, my main goal here is to learn Rust. If I happen to get a game out of it, game server, game, even better. So Island Line 28. That also, the death penalty in the game, though. I haven't really spoken a lot about that. The death penalty, you basically lose nothing except for your map. But it's probably the worst death penalty that we could actually do in this game. Because of the curse that was kind of put upon the universe to trap the evil entity, whatever that is. As your next of kin travels forth from your island with, well, you know, all of your belongings, like you keep everything. They show up on your island if you die, etc. But all of your links, all of your routes throughout the kind of star map of islands is different. So your route throughout the universe has changed because of the curse. So if you were doing trading routes and like all sorts of other stuff, it's all gone. Yeah. So hence the name Legacy, because, you know, things get passed on down. You think I've learned it better than many a paid Rust programmer? I blame Musean for that, actually. So thank you, Musean. Musean has been a patient mentor. Generate island here. We have this. All right, so this is the issue. Here we generate the island. This should just say island. We will no longer have a zone index. We'll probably have to have some other sort of altitude or something else on there. So let's get rid of this iteration. We're looking to have an index and a mesh out of it. Okay. Where's the mesh? That's going to be island. You've taken to having them all be TRF and I generally do. Yeah. I think it's a little bit more flexible. You can take a tref down to a ref, right? Just call as ref on it if you want to. So I come from a C programming background. So early on, like when I was like, 16, 17, I was making websites for my neighbors. And from there I got hired on as kind of like a, not a DBA, but like I worked for a company that made hundreds of websites, like little, pamphlet style websites, each one custom and whatnot, but stamped out hundreds of websites. And goodness, we went from Cold Fusion 1 to Cold Fusion 3 during that. But yeah, kind of a C background. Ended up getting into like corporate America, like big internet companies style businesses via C++. I had never programmed in C++ professionally, but I did teach myself C++, reading the book, effective C++, all that stuff, and got hired on to do C++ work, back-end C++ work, which was awesome. That, and when I joined that gig, my boss went on vacation, and it was a super small team actually in this really big company, and it was funny because we were like building out this little prototype, this experimental thing, and which grew. It was great. But the three of us, I had like a week's worth of time to kind of get settled into this job, and then my boss like went back home for like 2 weeks. And for 2 weeks, I basically had to find this bug in our service software, which ended up being somebody had incorrectly managed the file descriptors on the KQ interface on BSD machines. So that took me 2 weeks to find the bug. I think they were like hazing me or something, but I did figure it out. Nobody had been able to find it since before then, but it was. I had like this notebook full of like clues and hints. It was like Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes, like just going through there. But yeah, I've actually programmed a MMO backend in Java before, in a previous gig. So I am very appreciative of Rust forcing ownership in certain and all those constraints that it has, because there's a whole class of bugs we're avoiding. All right, where were we? Island zone. It still doesn't see that. Why not? Mod is land zone. Should be there. No. Other button. Thank you. Send index. Not found here. Where? Is that file not saved? Just save everything. Alright, we're starting this. Try again. I think COC was not happy with me. I had upgraded COC without restarting Vim. I wonder what that does to it. Oh, it looks better now. It's not complaining about that other element. It could find the index. Good. Hey Xenocron, how's it going? Let's call that zone altitude. Oh, you know what? Let's do that outside of this. I don't think I want to do that here. We do that in like island zones or something. Just comment that out. That's not right. Much better. Oh, hey, well, thank you. Well, welcome, Xenocron. I appreciate that. All right, let's. All right. It's going pretty well. Oh man. Let's copy that. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to add that here. Now it's saying it's unused. What? Self. No, that should be owner. My mistake. See, that's exactly the problem I get into flipping between GD script and Rust. And why I prefer not to flip between them all the time, because I'll get into like the self versus this, and all right, import that. Did I get it right? Ah, there we go. Yeah, context switching is brutal. All right, so that should be saved now. Should be able to get land there, and then into shared on this. Why did we do this? Now it's already shared, so we can set the mesh on it. We don't have to add the child, it's already there. And no more setting owner on it. Perfect. We'll set the island altitude as well later. Okay, so really that's just a simplification, organizing this in a slightly different way. And hopefully when we hit that button, it'll just generate the mesh over again and set it here. Are we missing anything? You should be able to receive that over and over and over again. Let's make sure it gets built. Sometimes we forget that step. Don't want to forget that. So, if I could dump some of my kind of work woes on y'all, a little couch time. I spent 5 or 6 hours yesterday tracking down a bug. The project is using React with React Router in it, and it's got some context stuff in there for permissions. Right, the permission stuff is code that I actually wrote, and it's using the new React context, so not the old API, but the new API. And for whatever reason, in one specific case, when we do the React router history.push, the component that has the router in it isn't rerunning. The UI changes, but the main component didn't get rerun. It doesn't seem to be like a pure component or anything in the stack. And goes to the next place, but our permissions don't get rebuilt because that function doesn't get run. It was so frustrating. Went to bed so pissed off last night. Because we keep bringing in these third-party libraries to replace libraries that we had built ourselves that were more or less working, like working better. But now, stuff's breaking, and it's not obvious why. It's just frustrating sometimes because we're doing it quote unquote the way that it should be done. Alright, so we've got this set mesh here. I don't know, it just seems so frustrating to me sometimes. We pull something in, and it works. Yeah, the component itself is a functional component, functional React component, and it's not being run again. And it's a functional component that has the router stuff in it. And in one of the routes, it has a button, basically, that takes you to a different route. And the route change works. It goes to the other route. It shows the other page. However, the main router at the very top didn't get rerun. But we need it to be rerun for our permissions to load the other set. It's like going from one account to another account. And it's just not... So now I gotta dig into React Router and figure out why that bug exists. Because in some cases it works, in others it doesn't. And in this one precise place, it doesn't work. I'm afraid I'm gonna get down there and see like, oh, I renamed it incorrectly and I was using like window.history.push or something silly. But that's for later. Alright, so let's click, get out of there. Oh yes, look at all that fun stuff there. It's always something dumb. And then it's like 5 or 6 hours that you can't get back. You're behind schedule. Keep telling people, yeah, I'll get it done, and then this happens, right? Because I should be able to get it done if this actually worked. A little time constraint stuff, it's just... I don't know. It's funny too because being able to do this Rust stuff actually makes me happy. And I like it. I like it so much. Oh, we shouldn't be changing that file. You having keyboard issues today, Xenocron? Alright, well that should have built. Let's see. Let's go take this into Godot. With the project list. Just to see if pure component syntax is being a factor. Oh, we don't have a pure component in the hierarchy. Like I was looking through it, I couldn't find one. Unless functional components are considered to be pure components, which I didn't think was the case. Oh, you went from ANSI to / with blank keycaps. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to have blank keycaps on my Kinesis. That would be great. All right, so we have this. We're going to go to Island. Because now Island should just be something that we could hit debug on. Oh. Oh, I want the scene. My mistake. Now we have the scene. Island debug, etc. Oh, that's odd. Generate method isn't in the current class. Island tool. Okay, let's go fix that. Did we not have a generate function? We do have a generate function. It has 4 parameters. Oh, this is the script versus other thing. How do we call the generate function on the script? You got them on an ergodox. Very little tech literacy here. Oh, nice. Very cool. Not great to learn the layout. I thought functional components were not considered pure components because pure components are the I guess they could be, aren't they? I never really thought through that. I'll definitely look at that and make sure. So what is now my friend ended up just getting one like the Kinesis gaming ones. Oh, these Moonlander, yes. I've been curious about these. I don't know if I could actually give up the wells though. I love the wells. I think these would be fantastic though, especially being able to adjust the tilt to be able to get the wrist alignment correct, because my elbows don't come in far enough when I'm relaxed, so my wrists are slightly tilted. But yeah, if I didn't do a keyboard, if I didn't already have one that's lasted me like nearly 10 years, I would definitely go for this. And I love the little levers on the sides, the alignment on that. And I like that the wrist pad isn't there. Takes a while to ship, yeah. Yeah, I could totally see using the temp poles. I do like the wells though. I think the Kinesis is nice for the wells. Yep, I am. This keeps putting you 100% towards ortholinear. Can you run the game code on your arm? Hot coffee. I believe I had it running a couple months ago on an arm. So yeah. I don't think I have anything currently that wouldn't run on an arm. What kind of arm? Left arm, right arm, either one. Yeah. The last one I had it running on was the Raspberry Pi 4 Plus B. Raspberry Pi 4B Plus. Alright, but how do we get... We ran into this before. I want to call a function on that. Oh, it's not self. This should be parent. I want to get the parent called generate on it. So self to get parent.generate, etc. Okay, let's try that. Ooh, go to the scene. Well, it didn't seem to blow up. Oh, the script didn't run. Yeah, that should have gone back to false. I'll debug. Let's reattach that. It's going to be in the tools. Where?
You seem to be the only one worthy of a final test. Remove as many of the bells as you can. One sound and you fail.
Set generate.
Go.
Now the way I be rocker, don't think you got ready. I hog the beat like bebop, bring it hard. Rock steady underneath the sewers in a New York City.
Oh, you programmed it so that almost all of your typing is in the center 3 rows. Nice.
Leonardo Warrior honor, there ain't no cheap shots. Keep looking, this dude, he got no weak spots. Shortstop, play it all, leaving the catcher. 1 through 3rd base.
That's pretty sweet. I saw that Prime Gen has a pretty neat Dvorak setup. Alright, so this should be working. It's not working. Should be tool script. We're getting generate set. If not generate, return. Generate there. It's attached to that. Let's close and open island again. Scene, island. Oh, non-existent generate and base spatial. Island GDNS. Okay, so island here should be, let's see, island.gdns. Seems fine. Okay, that was built. And we do have generate here. I'm gonna give it a reload just to make sure. Use Dvorak keyboard.
He always wanna fight, and Michelangelo, he plays so much, I call that dude DFW Nerd Night. And the good news, well, I have April reported. I destroy these fool, they grunts. I hope you guys recorded. Hide behind a mask of dreams. You can't face me, they can tell I don't really give a hockey butt, Casey. In the first verse, I hit you with the pizza rhyme. Slip into the past, slippery sloping like I'm spitting slime. Ninja Turtles in time. I'm gonna shell shock this line so hard that it'll silence in my crescendo megaphone. Fine tunes yellow bone. Sewer surfing myself right up to the technodrome. Started from the sewers, now the whole team stepping here. Shredded, destroyed, never reappear. The world ain't what it seems. You ain't never seen the world's most fearsome fighting team. When you're a little bit older, you realize the meaning of being useless as a foot soldier. Yo, my lines will have you sauce, pizza rhyme, and you know what it is, trip pizza time. You realize eventually come around, that's rotunda. Just go and yell the victory cry, cowabunga.
All right, so how do we get generate available on spatial there? So that there, this island, it does have a script on it, and that script there is island GDNS, which is fine. It should be that. Oh, we could wire it up via Signal. Signal would work. But I don't know why we can't call a function on it. And that's spatial, isn't it? Spatial, spatial. Yes. Self owner. That all looks fine. We should be able to call that function.
Styles like mouses, got nothing in stock, man. Think the backs to fly, get the swatter fam. We'll take them lightly, but that's an easy win to me. Touch who said the best, never lower your eyes to enemies.
Do we see hello getting output?
Closest thing to perfect, 9.95.
Alright, so if we run it, we do see a hello getting run, so it is attached. Do we have to make this a tool script somehow? Can we do that in GD Native?
time. You realize eventually come around, that's Rotunda. Just go and yell the victory cry, Cowabunga.
Is tool. What is this? So native script, does this have that? Surface tool, yada yada. Tool button, surface tool, etc., etc. It doesn't appear as though that script is attached yet. Alright, well it doesn't look like we can do that very easily, so we'll just make it do what we can do. Let's try this. Let's run it. That's not going to give me what I want. Drat. Basically, I'm trying to figure out how to get this script on island to actually run at kind of like right now. It appears as though I know we ran into this like last week or something, and we didn't get past it. But it appears as though generate function isn't on island.gdns, which seems silly because it should be. Okay, let's look at the lib. Let's go back up to native. Look at this. Go back into native. Here. And the properties on this. Singleton, reloadable, yes, yes. Entry, that's fine stuff. Dependency, resource, and script. I don't think we need script for this. Load ones. Oh, let's see. I want to be able to call it from tool stuff. Documentation for the generated classes. What about the closed ones? Create tool class. Is it possible to create a tool class? Seems like previous macro Godot class allows setting an is tool prop. Okay. Tool scripts aren't actually all that special. Just register them. Oh, init handle register tool class. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that before. Alright, that's on the 0.8 version. We want to go to the 0.9 version. Oh, they moved the documentation button up to the top right. Is it not there anymore? That was weird. Matty Live, welcome back. We were talking about keyboards, and we're trying to figure out why we can't invoke this function. I think it's because we don't have the tool class set up. And I wanted to see whether or not it was actually in there. So here, looks like we do have the generated elements. And this native script init.rs might have what we want. Let's take a look at that file. Add tool class. Add tool class. I was searching for the wrong thing. Can we do both? So let's say we register something as a class. Can we also register it as a tool class? Well, let's see if we can make a Godot blow up. I don't know if Godot Engine's going to be okay with us after this. It's neat that you can have tool classes that do this. That's really, really handy. Give it a quick reload, a resize. File system search for island. Okay, then we have our island, our scene. Now let's see if we click on that, does it work? It worked! All we had to do was register it as a tool class. Why am I using Godot? Because Godot never arrived. We were waiting for way too long. Alright, so that worked. Oh, that's fantastic. I know, like, who was expecting that? Raise of hands? Anybody? Nope, I didn't think so. Alright. And if we hit it again, do we get a different one? Oh, beautiful! Oh, that's just gorgeous. Okay. I like the new setup. That works really well. Okay, and we figured out how to do the tool class stuff. Alright, we're going to save this and capture it. Actually, now I'm a little curious. Now we do have a mesh here. Look at that. Wow, okay. And skeleton here says island. I wonder what that says. What does this actually mean? Is that like it's what it's attached to? It must be. And the material. This is what we wanted to get to. Right, and then here, do the overdraw. It's just some random island. So if you can imagine yourself being on it, right? Just kind of looking around and being like, hey, I'm on an island. It's got enough of a shape to it. And as you wander around, you're not going to see like all the bits and bobs, but it's got enough of an edge that I think people will be satisfied. All right. Now, what I wanted to do was research shaders. So for the backside of this, I want to have the island hanging down underneath it, right? So going back to our kind of view here, kind of like these over here. I want this Whoa, zooming in the wrong way. I want the bottom of it to have some sort of shape to it, right? Oh, thank you, Green Tide. Yes, there will be an ocean around it, and the ocean will only go so far before it stops. And technically, this isn't like a heavy science sort of game, right? So basically, your sailboats, the boats that you sail between islands, will kind of go off into space. Um, what is it, Azeroth? Um, so imagine something like, I know it's never going to look like this, but it's kind of an interesting, if we could find it. Did I choose the wrong name again? It's not Azeroth, is it? It's yeah, kind of like this, but with a little bit more of an island around it. So whatever Thor's homeworld is, which I don't remember at the moment. But I want to get the jagged bottom on it. And I think I might be able to use a height map for that. So we could create some noise and just use a height map for the underside of it. Is it? It is Asgard, right? Yeah. So we're trying to get the underside of that. And Godot height map. Basically, we want an inverted height map, so the height's going to be going down underneath. And I thought they had the ability to do a height map. Mesh generation with height map and shaders. Here we go. Oh. You'll stay lurking? Alright. Azergard. Oh, interesting. That's different. Alright. So yeah, we can generate some noise, generate a height map, and then we need something like this to put the height map on, but I want it clipped. I don't want to do something like that exactly. And then basically the shader is going to change what the verts are, right? Yeah. Kind of want the opposite of that. Azeroth. There was a great one that I found, I don't know, many streams ago. That was just gorgeous. I don't see what I'm looking for here. All right, so how do we do something like this? Basically, we could generate points inside of our path and try to tessellate that again. Am I thinking of the floating city? Yes, the floating city, exactly. Basically, it's the scene where you have Azeroth with basically this water around it that's falling into space. Yes, this, exactly. Where it's got water around it, then it falls into space. And this is kind of how I kind of imagine the islands, in that you sail from this off into the stars of other islands. Right, and then basically the island that you're visiting might have multiple islands chained together at different altitudes. Oh yeah, this is a great one. Flat Earth, that's funny. Oh, Asgard, gotcha. Let's see. All right. So come back here. That's we need to generate the bottom of this thing. Because from one island, you'll probably be able to see the bottom of another island. How am I going to render the tortoise? Well, does the ant know that they're on? Okay, like I don't think we have to. Oh, we might. Could be fun. You fall off your boat in space, you end up on the tortoise. Alright. So, but yeah, that's kind of like the loose science that I'm talking about for the game, right? It's more fiction than fact. Scope creep, scope. I know, stay on target, stay on target. Okay, so we have the island. We have it being tesslated here. What else can we do with this? Because I'm thinking that really we want a shader on the bottom that can generate kind of a mesh. Now, what kind of shaders does Godot support? I know they have their own shader language, but shader language for what? Shader language based on GLSL, built into the editor with code completion, which is awesome. Let's go to their docs. It's the Learn button at the top. Shader. Spatial shader. What are the requirements on the hardware for this? Setting up, okay, you get a mesh instance. Alright, then we see the triangle, great. Yeah, it's gonna tessellate it, okay, it's gonna shader magic. Say it's spatial. Alright, so how do we subtract one object from another in Godot? Could we end up creating that plane? And then, yeah, here they talk about the height map and stuff like that as well. Because maybe we should do that. Just basically create one of these elements like this, trim it, right? Basically remove any vert that's not within this. So how would we do that? What did they call it? Primitive mesh. Okay. That's probably a CSG mesh. Alright, and where is this mesh? Oh, I see. Let's delete that. Yeah, go ahead and delete that. Add a new one. Because we can just do a mesh instance there. Bottom of it, whatever. And in here we can give it a new plane mesh. And if we edit the plane mesh, we can give it a size. So we could say this is 20 by 20. Oh, no. Whatever the size of this thing is, which is probably 40 at the moment, 40 by 40. Okay, subdivision is going to be ones, I don't know. Perspective, let's look at the wireframe on that. Oh, no. Undo. Gonna edit that. Alright, so we could do that, and then we could just cut out the ones that we don't want. That seems like a mess. And that's a lot of verts. I don't think we need that many. So we just need something kind of rough that would look like the bottom if it was textured and shaped correctly. It's almost like I want a cone with the edges mapped correctly. So maybe we'll just do that. Basically take the points and create cone and then texture that. And given some bump mapping, it'll look just fine. Alright, so let's go to the blackboard. Alright, so what is that thing? That thing is basically a point in the center with a triangle that comes out here. Two of these yellow points, right? So if the border was some crazy shape, which are always non-overlapping, and there's a clear shot from the center because of how we ended up creating these islands, we could just go around this creating triangles, right? All the way down to the middle. And then, right, so we go through, we create these triangles, boom. And then we just lower the center point. So we could create our own triangle mesh here based on that. And then we just add a shader for that with some grittiness, whatever, and it makes it look like the bottom of an island. Maybe. I think it would. And then depending on how tightly subdivided the top was, the rest of it should be okay. So let's look at that again. Looks like it's fairly well subdivided around it. I'll have to see. I'm looking at the perimeter. How often do those points, how often do we have vertices on the perimeter? I think it would be okay. So if we took all of the perimeter points and just generated a mesh and dropped the center point of the mesh, we'd have our island bottom. Alright, let's go into island. So those are the indices. I think for this island here, when we get the island back, we also want the points, the perimeter points. rename that. The perimeter. All right. Let's add that. Perimeter is equal to what? I forgot what the types was. A vector of points. Okay. Let's see, for this, DI right angle bracket, paste. Oh, a little too far. Need the I-16 still in there. Alright, so we have vector of island point. I come back. Mismatched types. Oh, say it ain't so. Okay. Oh, U16 versus I16. Got it. Got it. That should be... We don't have negative indices in the triangle index. It's always positive. Okay. That should work. Now we have our perimeters, and they're going counterclockwise. We'll basically need some sort of center point for this. And I think that's always going to be 0, 0 because of where we start. Okay, good. I'll come back here. Take another look. So we're basically going to be tracing around, creating triangles to that center point. So we need to create, I guess our vert index is kind of the same, isn't it, as the other one? Well, it's a little different. We don't have, I guess it'll be in order. So here we end up having that. Let's rename this to surface. We'll do another one for bottom. What is that? That's an island mesh instance. Okay, now we have a mesh instance. Come on. It should be right next to it. So in this place, we end up doing what? Changing the orientation of those vertices, going from 2D to 3D. We'll have to do the same thing down here. But we're not going to be using the same vertices. I'm going to use island perimeter. Hopefully it's not moved right there. It might be. Okay, so we have our island perimeter into iter. And yeah, vector of points, and we're converting those just fine. Okay. Now those are in kind of clock face order from 3 going counterclockwise back around to 3 o'clock. All right, we need a new mesh. So the island bottom will be there. Island should have a bottom. Toss that on there. We're going to be doing kind of the same thing. I should break this up into functions. Let's do that. Generate surface. Is it only the land that we need? We also need owner. Okay. Oh, that's our own. And the type of this is what? Self.generate surface. We'll pass in the owner. And then whatever island is, you can borrow it. And we're going to do the same thing for the other end. Well, let's leave that fix me there. We didn't do that yet. Okay, take that out of there. Okay, do the surface first, bottom second. What is the type of this? It's of type island. And that island is island. Oh, I see, it's a Cosmos island. We can clean that up later if we want. Or just call it Cosmos Island. Alright, that should be a little better. We need to borrow it. Alright, now we have to actually generate that mesh. Which is going to be a lot of this stuff over again. Yeah, we have our points. We're going to be taking some of these here. Alright, so then given each point, we're not going to swap the order of the triangles. We need to create our own indices into this. So we need one more point in our vertices, and that's going to be vertex 0. So how should we get vertex 0 on there? We could either insert it or do that ahead of time. Let's see, if this is an iterator, we could chain these. Some vector 3, new. We'll chain this other one on there, and then we'll collect them both. So we have our first vector, which is actually the center of the island, and we'll go from there over and over and over again to each one of these other elements. What does chain take? Other U, where U is an into iterator of something of self item. And what is self in this case? All right, what's being borrowed? There we go. So at this point, we have to go from however many we have. It's basically from, let's create a range, 1 dot dot vertices dot length, because we want to skip the 0 point. I think I have an off by 1 error here. We'll see. So for each one of those, we will map and actually I think we want to do a window. So we need to create 3 things from 2 things. And if we're going from, say, a point up here, and this first point, going around to the second point, and then the first one, we'll then have to do, so the second one to the third one, and then from the third one to the fourth, and so on. So we do have to visit each one twice, which we can use window for. Can we do windows on this? On a range? Right, so if we did that, and then we mapped that, flat map, we would have two vertices. Well, we'd basically have two numbers. It'd be from like 1, 2, 2, 3, etc., right? And technically we don't need a window in order to do that. We just plus 1. So given the index, we're going to flat map that into essentially, we could create a little vector here, but that seems odd. I'm trying to do this with the combinators. If we were doing this with just a for loop, it would be a little simpler. This is part of the stream where I'm trying to learn Rust and understand how option and range and all these other iterators, etc., fit together. So here we have a range, right? We're starting at 1 because 0 we don't want. So in this case, we would want to return something that you could iterate over, or you can flatten into something else. So I guess we couldn't really do like a... So we could return a iterator that's a function, or a vector and then iterate over that. And if we had a vec here, I don't think I want to do that way. Yeah, that gets a little weird. Let's try it anyways. So let's say we have a vector, BC, boom. I'm gonna go from index 0 to index, and then to index plus 1, right? We flat map, we collect that in there. Cannot move out of that. Yes. Maybe we should just pass the perimeter in. Do we need island for anything else? No. Alright, so there we'll have that. Okay, we'll do the same thing for this. We'll just call it land. And what is that? That's a vertex buffer? It's an island point and a U16 probably. Then we have our indices, we have our vertices, and we should be able to build that. Ooh, interesting. Will it blend? It actually built. Wow. All right. Give that a save, and let's load the DLL. Open up the island. Oh, look, it actually kept the last surface that it generated. That's neat. All right. Well, let's see. Let's hit the little generate button there. Holy smokes. Those are the points, but they are not the points. Those are the points, the control points. Oh, that's neat. You can actually see what the control points were for our object. All right. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's like a happy mistake. All right, in the bottom vertex, X, Y. Y is actually the height. So let's say this is -10 or something. -20. No, 10. I'll fight with myself over this all day. I know, it should probably be passed in. F32. Negative height. All right, we'll pass that through. There should be one more issue. Oh, and the next issue is going to be in our script code. Okay, before we go and fix the perimeter thing, I'm going to reload this. I want to get the height working. All right. I'll generate again. Ooh, we got an error. Ah, yes, our script. What do we want the height to be? Oh, this is the order that they appear. Okay, back to the scene. Close that little window. Oh, look at that. Okay, we have a height. We've actually got something there. Overdraw. Kind of working. I think the order is not correct entirely. So if we hide the surface, yeah, it's actually facing up and not down. So our rotation is incorrect. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Oh, goodness. How you doing, Coach Joe? All right. I've got that written down. And what this means, so our surface order was wrong. That means our indices here, we need a +1 and offset there. That should get them drawing in at least the right order, so it's not looking up instead of down. Because yeah, our faces are incorrect. Okay, that built. Ooh, in 4 seconds, not bad. Quit your project, save and close. I gotta get set up with more emoticons so that I want to create like a happy Clippy and like a really pissed off Clippy, right? Like when things go poorly, Clippy. All right, our island. Go back to the scene. Now this is still the one from before. We have the surface turned off. It's just the bottom. Debug island on. That looks better. Now we see it from the bottom. One of the angles though is, why is that one like that? Why is it going from 0, 0, 0 instead of that point at the bottom? Okay, that I don't get. It's probably making up for some other error I have in here. Alright, so yeah. We have the base of the island though. It's not correct, as we know, because if we look at it in combination with the top, the shape is not right. Down here, it's larger than on the surface. Angry Clippy? Yeah, I like the idea of Angry Clippy. Like bigger eyes, angry eyebrows. All right. So how do I get the vertices for that shape? Because I basically want the tessellation and not the perimeter. I think I'm saving the wrong thing as the perimeter. So I also don't know that the tessellation is going to give us the points in the right order. In fact, I don't know what order it gives us those points. Or is it here? Where's our tessellate? Cube 2, yada yada. Get in here. This tessellate path. What order do you give us the points? Guess we just print it out and look. Because that would be our, basically the land. We're going to generate a small test. So yeah, something like that. I want to see if those points appear to be going in a certain order or if they're bouncing around. Is it going left, right due to the scan? What do we have to order them? Which we could do. How would we order them if we needed to? I guess basically they're, we just order it by their radians. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. That's why it's doing that. Now with more correct directory. Oh, those are the indices? Good. All right, so if we start here, we start at 0 minus 20x. Wow, so it did start at the top. Yeah, and it's going left, right, left, right. Okay, so we do have to order them when we give the perimeter. We're not going to keep this. This we'll rename back to points. And after we build the path and do the tessellation, we need to get all of the triangles from the vertices from the tessellation and order them into a perimeter. That is going to be what land dot vertices, a clone, need it to be mutable, and then we will sort it. And we need our comparison function. We can do sort unstable by, so we should never have two at the same place. So at this point, we basically have a bunch of points kind of in a clock face, right? And we need to be able to say which one is greater than or less than the other one in order to be able to go around this correctly. What is the simplest, cheapest way to do that? Oh, you just integrated 3D collision detection into your ECS. Good job. Wow. Very cool. So we could basically give them quadrants. But it seems like radians might be the easiest one. I just don't want negative radians. We would have to take the absolute value of the rate. Oh, you want a 2D game with a 2D world and couldn't find an engine that did that. Oh, a 2D game with a 3D world. Oh, cool. Very cool. So that's, I actually call that 2.5D. Right, so everything in the world is actually 3D, but you're operating on kind of a 2D plane. Yeah, it's 2.5D, and then there's like variants of 2.5D, which is like cards in space, which is almost like the original Quake. There's lots of different variants there. Alright, so we're gonna sort that. Does Euclid have something on here? It does have angle. And angle... They also have vector. Oh, there's no ord for this. Partial equal? Approximate equal. There's no like ord or partial ord. Oh, that's too bad. Could return an order based on that. Cross product. Are you less than or equal, etc. It's kind of a vector that we want, like a vector. Angle from x-axis. Okay, that's interesting. Return angles between negative pi and pi. And angle has partial ord on it. Okay. So we just have two vectors and then we say angle to that. An experiment. Oh, interesting. Most 2.5D still done it in 3D engines though. Oh, I see. Because even though it's 3D everything, it's axis aligned. Ah, nice. What are those? These are points, right? Because we could say a dot to vector. And that'll return an angle, because what we need to return from this is something that's ordering. Okay. And what do we get for partial ord? Oh, no. We can just say, just call the partial ord bit. Yeah, that returns ordering. Okay. So I have partial CMP to the other angle, and that returns an ordering, which we should just unwrap. Why? If one exists. I see, it's partial. Huh. If it doesn't exist, what do we return? And we'll see. Nothing for Euclid done that. Oh, I see. If I had two angles. So if I said, oh, this two, let's say, a zero vector or something else. All right, let's try it with the cross product then. So if we had those two, and we say, you know, well, the cross product. Turns it over the cross product. Okay. Okay, so this returns an F32 if it's. We basically have three cases that we want to match. Can we do that with floats? Can we match on this, or do we have to use... Oh, the name of the color scheme is Challenger Deep. See, I don't think I can do this. Okay. Oh, you know what? We should just use is sign positive, is sign negative. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So if cross is equal to that, then sign positive. Equal should never happen for these. You like the font? Oh, you used to work with the guy that made that. Oh, that's cool. Your code is beautiful, yeah. Alright, so in this case, we're going to debug perimeter. And I gotta get going shortly. So negative 19, 2, 5, 7, 10. Okay, so it's actually going kind of clockwise from 9 o'clock. 17, 10, 15, 12, 13, 13. It's kind of like 12, 10, 17. Okay, that's coming up to the top. And then we have 0 here. This is like 12 o'clock. We'll continue to go around. 5:19, so okay, so 13, good, coming around. Then we get to the east, or 3 o'clock. 19, 2, 19, negative 5. Yep, so the X is going down. Y goes down. Alright, then we reach 6 o'clock, or south. Then we come back around. That looks like it works. Wow. I was not expecting that to work first time through. Okay, so if we have that, now let's build it and try it out. Hopefully these points will match and create the proper cap on the bottom of the island. There we go. I have to reload this because, well, we have a bug. There's a bug. Godot is supposed to be able to reload that. I think, maybe. Alright, there's our scene. Alright, we've got the old cap, and you can see that it, like over there on the left, how it goes out beyond the island curve. We're going to try to match those up. Ooh. It didn't do it at all. Why not? Why is it still using the wrong one? So we're cloning the land vertices. We have this perimeter. Going through that. That should have been it. Oh, this should be not points. This is perimeter. We're still passing the old values. Okay. Again. This song's a little repetitive, isn't it? I like the music behind it. It's like that Weird Al song. The song is just 6 words long. All right. Try again. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah, we're missing that one curve. Maybe 2. Got something going on, but it mostly looks okay. I see. Our ordering's not always correct. But yeah, now at least we got the profile of the island correct. Oh, that's looking so much better. Yeah, because Vinotech, thank you. Thank you. I think what we're missing now is, because of the way that it's going clockwise through this instead of counterclockwise, our island points here are backwards. Let's fix that. Back to the way it was. Oh wait, no, we don't want to swap those two. Generate bottom, here we go. I wonder if we're missing one because we're not going up to the length. We'll fix that bug later. Alright, reload again. I mean, you toss some, you know, a shader on that, a little texturing. It's gonna look slick. Okay, this is the before. Set the after. I think it's mostly right. And we can obviously see through it. But yeah, that one slice there, I think is wrong. Other than that, it's looking good. Got a little overdraw, which is fine, as we would expect because the island is not convex. But yeah, that little sliver there, I'll have to fix that later. But I think that's probably a good stopping point for me today. We got the top of the island, we got the bottom of the island, got our vertices. There's a lot of verts. This is cool. This is coming along. Oh, thank you. I think the tessellation was going to work just fine for this. All right, let's give it a little cleanup. Legacy scenes, get status. Legacy native. Something got removed, didn't it? Cosmos, Game Master, Legacy Rust. All right. We got that committed. Gonna browse Sans Attack. And thank you for all the new follows today. I appreciate it. I know I don't call that out, but I do appreciate them. And that's little, I guess the next step in this is going to be fixing that little gap, right? Then we'll probably add a little bit of texturing just to play around with it, see if it's going to work fully. Then also multiple islands kind of in the same zone, positioned in space, and then we'll have to create little ladders going up to them. And I think that we can still use Leon for that. It should work out just fine. Ooh, Eric.dev. Oh, Act.dev. Oh, so many choices. The big question is, did we beat the chickens? We did not beat the chickens today. Chickens are still ahead. Someday. Someday we will beat the chickens. Let's see, what's Ecton doing? Is there any client server game? Ooh, very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna raid that direction. Let's get back to the code here. That's good. So until next time, y'all, I look forward to it. I think this has really come along. I mean, we went through and we did a whole bunch of noise stuff. We did some scanning. Goodness, went through incredible amount of changes in there, but I think we came up with something that'll work really well. So until next time, bye-bye. Oh, we got the BRB.